I was compelled to do this film on October 27, 2018, when 11 people were killed in a massacre in a synagogue in Pittsburgh. Anti-Semitism has always made me angry. Being a Jew and growing up in the shadow of the Holocaust, something that was spoken of in a very negative, almost fearful way. It'll never happen again. But it has happened again. It's happening. Anti-Semitism is happening, as it has been for the last 2,000 years. Trump allowed people to come out from the closet and be totally hateful in public, like the Charlottesville demonstrations, and these gunmen killing Jews and now Mexicans as well. During my deliberations, during my research as part of that, a friend of mine who's a priest who deals with immigration stuff, works with undocumented people, took me to a monastery, a former Benedictine monastery, which was being converted to luxury apartments. And the owner, because that work wasn't going to be done for several months, let the church be used as a way station for migrants who would come to the United States who were trying to spread out to other places. These are the people who were brought in, stopped, checked out by ICE and the Border Patrol, sometimes not arrested, but detained or whatever. And then they were dropped off at this church. And at the church, they would get some food and blankets from a volunteer staff, faith-based organization, and get them hooked up with their relatives or whatever in the United States, and then back to the bus station so they could leave. And a busload of people just came in. While I was standing talking to Father Ricardo, they got off the bus, and I saw how they were checking out the place, perhaps their first, aside from a bus station, first place they'd been in the United States. And I saw young people, a young man, walked up to me and shook my hand as if I was somebody. I was certainly a Caucasian person, but he had a look of such hope that he was finally in the United States. I don't know where he came from, Guatemala, Honduras, whatever nightmare he tried to escape. He had no idea that he was going to step into another one here, because it's indecent what's happening. The way that immigrants are being treated in the United States is the way that immigrants have been treated before. So my film has evolved not only to include anti-Semitism, but it's really about immigration. And if we go back to World War II, during the Holocaust, at the beginning, before Hitler enacted the final solution, they wanted to get Jews out of Europe. They wanted to get them out of Germany. They wanted to have them to relocate. No one would take them. And that's when Hitler and his merry band of Nazis put together the extermination plan with all these concentration camps. And then 1940 on, 6 million people were killed. So many of those people could have been saved if they had been allowed to leave and go someplace else, but nobody wanted them. So this was an immigration issue. And it goes back in my family to the 20s, the early 20s, when so many Jews came, so many people from Eastern Europe, from Ukraine, from Poland, from Russia, came to the United States. And there was a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment at that time that weren't wanted here. It eventually resulted in cutting down the quota for how many people could actually come here, would be allowed here. And this became an issue, and my film is going to talk about this. It's going to talk about the immigration part of it, up to today, why there is such hatred. Why do people hate Jews today? Why do people hate Mexicans?